Welcome back to The Best Defense. I'm Ron Kuby. Stunning turn of events in Adam Gillard's trial. The trial ends with a mistrial and a guilty plea, a 5-year sentence, which is far lower than what the prosecution originally wanted as part of a plea, which was some 15 years. And let's go back out to Beth Karras. Beth, you've been covering this from the beginning. I know it's been a very emotional trial for everybody. Tell me what the community sense is about this verdict. Justice done, justice not done, partial justice. How are people walking away from this?
Well, you know, I spent most of my time after the plea talking to friends and family members, and of course, you know, some of them were so upset that, you know, they felt Adam Gillard was basically getting off. I said, he's not getting off. He's a convicted felon. He's got a 5-year sentence, 10 years probation. He couldn't even handle 30 days out on bail without violating a condition, which was a random drug test where he tested positive for cocaine. What's the 10 years on probation going to be like? So he may end up doing more than the 5-year sentence if he can't stay clean. So,
all right,
but
Beth.
other family members forgave him, and they want closure. As far as the community, people saw it kind of both ways. I mean, the way the jurors did. I mean, most jurors, of course, felt that it was a crime, he was guilty, but, you know, one juror did not. So, and a lot of people flip-flopped during the trial. Is it a crime, is it not? What he did.
Real quick, what's up with the 6-person jury, Beth? I thought a jury of 12, like, you know, they had to read me my rights and jury of my peers. That's just another media myth, right? There's not a constitutional requirement to a jury of 12, is there?
That's right. In Florida, it has to be first-degree murder for a 12-person jury. It needn't be capital murder, but it has to be first-degree murder. You get a 12-person jury. But let me tell you, they have something else in Florida here, which they seldom use, but it is available and it is used, and that is when there's a split with the jury, both sides don't know the split. If both sides agree, they can take a majority verdict. Well, that was considered yesterday.
Well, that strikes me as an amazing gamble. But you know, it's often said that we defense lawyers, we like 12 people because it maximizes the opportunity for disagreement. But in this case, the 6 people could not agree. Let's go back inside the courtroom and watch the process from mistrial to plea.
All right, Mr. Gillard, you need to come forward. Deputy, if you would mind moving the podium just a little bit off to the center, so as the microphones are not set up, so you can, there you go. All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, put your hand down. I need you to speak up. Please tell me your full name.
Adam Norman Gillard.
Your date of birth.
January 23rd, 1973.
Mr. Gillard, for purposes of the record, this is case number 2006-13862. You are currently charged in that case in an amended information with leaving the scene of a crash involving death. It is a felony punishable by 15 years in prison. You sat through this trial, so I assume you, at this stage in the proceedings, certainly understand what it is that you are charged with and what the maximum penalty is.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to ask you a series of questions under Florida law, and you need to listen carefully. If there's anything at all you do not understand, or if you wish an opportunity to speak further with your lawyers, you're welcome to do that, but please so advise. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you read, write, and understand English fluently?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ever been treated for mental illness?
No, Your Honor.
Are you today under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medications?
No, Your Honor.
As I understand it, Mr. Gillard, you have reached an agreement with the Office of the State Attorney to plead guilty to the charge as charged of leaving the scene of a crash resulting in death. You will be adjudicated guilty, which means you will have a felony conviction for this crime. As part of the plea agreement, this will be a split sentence. You're going to spend 5 years in the Department of Corrections, followed by 10 years probation. The 5 years in prison will, as part of your plea agreement, have credit for time served in the amount of no more than 498 days. That's the deal you cut. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
As special conditions of your probation, you must undergo random drug testing and you will have to pay for it. That's a special condition of the probation. Under no circumstances will you be permitted to drive any motor vehicle whatsoever for any reason whatsoever. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your driving privileges will be revoked permanently. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the standard conditions of probation are basically the rules and regulations of probation is governed by Florida law. They're called standard or general conditions, and that's something that you have to abide by. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court costs in this case will be reduced to a civil money judgment. They amount to $473.
5 years in prison, 10 years probation. J. Buzz von Ornsteiner, you used some words that I want to sort of throw back in your face. Things like closure and forgiveness. I'm going to hate these words.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I hate the notion of forgiveness in this context is this. The family members of these two dead women, they can forgive Mr. Gillard for the harm that he has caused to them, for the holes in their hearts, for ripping the fabric of their lives. But they don't have the power to forgive him for the harm he caused to the two dead people. Only the victims, at least in my philosophical reckoning, have the ability to offer that forgiveness, and they can't because they're dead. So you're never going to get forgiveness. And I think forgiveness aims a little high, frankly, under the circumstances.
No, I hear what you're saying, Ron. My wish would be that people, when they're in grief, they can find some level of peace, that these individuals, these family members can go on with their life with some measure of closure. Clearly, this is an incredibly tragic accident. And again, this trial leaves a lot of questions open. And it's very easy to become angry, and it's very easy to go with your emotions and have a tremendous amount of rage. My wish for this family would be that they had lead some level of peace and let go of the anger, because when grief is left unattended, it can turn to depression, and depression then can lead to anger and revenge. I would want some peace in their life. This trial, the questions that arise from this always are, how could you not know you hit two people and killed them? Were you on drugs? Was there drug abuse here? There's a lot of questions. Why did it take you 12 hours to go to the police? If we hold on to those things, then of course we can have a lot of anger. And again, I don't want this family to spend the rest of their life ruled by emotions.
All right, Buzz, well, that's fine. I appreciate that. I will say this on the record on television. If I ever get cut down like this, I want my family to stay angry about it for a good long time. Greg Heisler, again, the term accident. That covers, papers over a lot of stuff. There are accidents in the sense that things were just inevitable. She jumped out in front of me. There's no way I could have stopped. It was an accident. But that wasn't this. This guy was driving carelessly, negligently, recklessly, however we want to characterize it. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. He wasn't paying attention the way he was supposed to pay attention. That's not just an accident, right?
Right. Well, the difference is there's a duty, a breach of duty. In this case, he wasn't paying attention, he was being reckless or negligent, versus, say, a real criminal act where there's an affirmative act and a mens rea to go out and do something.
All right, we're going to talk about mens rea stuff in just a minute. We've got to take a short break, pay a few bills. We'll be right back.